Hello folks, welcome to another daily Bitcoin market analysis by Inspocrypto. We will, first of all, talk a little bit about some, in my opinion, wrong narratives, once again spreaded by a lot of maxi boys indicating that some extremely bullish things are going to happen in Germany mainly, related to Bitcoin. It's my hood, I would say, because even what they are mentioning in the article, I know this banking provider very well. I worked in different projects with them, so I know very well about everything what they are doing, and I also know the conditions. I also know if that's just once again a FOMO narratives like spot ETFs and 100k. You remember 2021? How many times we did have a spot ETF announcement, and how many times they connected it to 100k until end of the year. At the end, nothing happened. You remember that? Well, as you can see, finally, it was, I'm absolutely not good in TA, and usually I wouldn't care that much, but when I'm using that just for trend lines, and then you see a fucking diamond formation and you say, what? But however, even if you make such a tweet, you will always find a smart ass out there who is saying, it's wrong. It's so fantastic. I love that. However, we will see how far they want to bring it. I don't think they're going just to make us all a big favor. However, just to make a little teaser, I just also noticed that longs came up big after they noticed we were not dumping, and then we will see later on Binance more longs went up and shorts reduced a little bit. So but however, I would be extremely careful here. I'm not trading, as mentioned. It was a very solid and nice opportunity to make some money, but I don't care that much. However, we will talk first of all about the initial comment. Let us talk about what they were just describing as the next moon is going to happen. I need to translate this in English. So there we have crypto in Germany. These banks will soon offer Bitcoin. Bitcoin adoption in Germany thanks to DWP Bank. It's a banking provider for many banks in Germany. And they provide every kind of different financial products. So even stock market connections and so on and so forth to other companies. 1,200 German banks and saving banks will soon be able to offer BTC and Co. So the article is absolutely fine, because that's what they are saying, will be able to. That's one part. They are explaining a little bit what they are doing, since when, and so on and so forth. But as mentioned, also in 2021, also here, please make your research, check my old tweets, because even in 2021 we had an even much bullish case related to crypto in general. That was when the lawyer in Germany just have brought a new law that let institutionals almost use 25% of their whole portfolio buying crypto. I mean, that's extremely bullish. That's much more bullish than this here. It was a $400 billion case. That was in 2021. What happened? I don't hear anything. Exactly, nothing. Nothing. And I know why. It's always the same. It's always the same. All these beautiful, extremely bullish cases are failing because of one only thing: regulation. So now let us go forward, because of course I had to react here. Patrick Hansen just shared this tweet: great news for BTC adoption and access in Germany through its new VP Next platform. The DWP Bank will allow up to 1,200 German banks to open Bitcoin trading. Well, nobody said about trading, it's just a wallet, but yeah, obviously, okay. However, and soon more crypto assets. The crypto holdings will be integrated into the customer's online banking securities account. That's great. I love that, because they are just making everything to prepare the global regulation body. So banks are bullish on crypto. I told you. They are not bullish on the assets itself, but on the infrastructure. Just as with securities, the current fiat account at the bank can also be used for clearing, so no pre-funding is necessary. Accordingly, nice to have if you know they are going to launch the CBDC, right? Accordingly, bank customers no longer have to through an additional verification when opening their BTC crypto account. Now you can mention what Citadel is going to make with Fidelity. Oh, do you miss that they have now an own centralized exchanges together? Then you can just think 1-2 steps forward, because that's going to happen. And that's why Binance, Gemini, they don't need all these centralized exchanges. The banks are going to offer you directly over banks providers, Fidelity or whatever, assets, and they will get fees for that. They know that's a big use case, but also business case. Further crypto assets and tokenized securities will be added in the future. Accessing and trading Bitcoin and crypto assets can get much easier than that for people that don't want to self-custody. I'm absolutely agree with what he is saying. It's absolutely, that's part of the mass adoption. And I have said the mass adoption will not start with 3 guys who are saying, hey, or because of Binance, because of FTX, or even because of Tether. They are not part of the mass adoption, and they will not, in my opinion, survive their regulation. However, old story. Why old story? Because that's not new. That's absolutely not new. And as just mentioned before, even the German law, the courts launched a law that allows just institutionals, hedge funds, private equity companies, and so on and so forth, to use 25% of their portfolio with crypto assets. And they are not doing it. And I know why. Because they said, it's fine that I can have these assets in Germany. But globally, the whole regulation framework is extremely foggy. We don't know what, it's just we need to, or in other words, it's involved with huge spendings to manage everything. And that's why these companies need a regulation, a global regulation framework like the Hong Kong watchdogs also mentioned. Only then we will receive mass adoption. Only then. But regulation framework on a global level takes time, and it's extremely painful for all these Wild West companies we have involved to crypto right now. Tether, Binance, and so on and so forth. What happened? After Binance stopped their zero fees promotion related to spot. If you check the volume now compared to last week, you can see that. I have said 70% was wash trading. I think 90% was wash trading. That couldn't happen in a full regulated environment. Forget that Tether could say, I'm not going to make any audit because it's not required. Then it will be required. Otherwise, they are going to close your doors and kick your ass. And that's what's going to happen to Tether, because I don't know who these guys are going to hide everything they did in the last years. Because of course regulators then will have access and they will take a look what they did in the past. So it's going to be extremely interesting. However, I know the DVP bank very good, as they are provider services for banks, a lot of them. But their biggest customer is the German Sparkasse. The German Sparkasse is the biggest union or the biggest association of saving banks. It's part of the federal banks. In Germany, we have different federal banks. In Germany, for example, the Bank of Bavaria, the Bank of Berlin, that's the Landesbank Berlin. We have different banks, and they are connected to the saving banks. It's the biggest customer. Now, if you check the website of the Sparkassenverbund, so the Association of Sparkassen, they say, of course, I have already the translation here. The Sparkassenfinanzgruppe warns its customers against investing, not buying, investing in Bitcoin. That is why we are not appealing offers from the saving banks and their partners, and they have a lot of partners. The reason is incalculable risks that cryptocurrencies entail. Nevertheless, the Sparkassenfinanzgruppe is working on wallet solutions for crypto assets, for example, for tokenized shares or real estate. That's it. That's it. Don't try to find anything here that tells you to the moon tomorrow, because that's fucking it. It's so simple. And when I say I'm long-term extremely bullish, I mean those who know me, those who know how bearish I am on crypto in the short and midterm. How many times I said I'm extremely bullish on crypto in the long term because it's part of a political agenda. And everything what's happening at the moment, I have mentioned why it would make sense to let collapse the whole financial sector, to create a reset. Because everything is so complex that just to migrate all systems to a different infrastructure, I mean, we are talking about crypto, and just to shift everything will take decades. Like, you remember the transition when the first PCs arrived in the offices? How much time? Wow, I remember how many people just were sitting in front of the screen and said, what can I do with this machine? That's the thing. But this time we don't have the time anymore. It's not just to say, well, it's going to be the next migration project like Commerzbank, Deutsche Bank or Postbank. We know what was the outcome at the end. So we don't have the time anymore. I have mentioned that the whole financial sector is overheated. They changed their business plan because of the monetary policy of the last decades, because, The whole environment changed then. It was free money, everything was extremely happy, but that works until a certain level. And then they only did it because otherwise the problem we have right now, we had this problem just a decade before. Different, absolutely different, and other things would be the trigger instead, for example 2008, but it was part of it. Everything is part of it, and it makes absolutely sense to let call up something that, in your opinion, it's, just old school, it's not going to represent the future anymore. And people who has their bank as an app on their mobile phone, they talk how innovative their bank is. That's stupid. That's absolutely stupid, because nothing have changed. The systems behind are exactly the same that the Deutsche Bank has in behind, or maybe even your home bank. So to make a big revolution in the whole financial sector, it is absolutely crucial to start from you. And in that case, to use crypto. Because also another thing is that banks don't like to spend their money in regulation, of course not, but they need to, but not in IT. Nobody is forcing them to say, hey, you need to invest money in IT. They don't need to, so they are not doing it. Instead, they are looking for standards. And I have mentioned so many times in 2021, I have even published what kind of crypto projects would be useful. For example, if you check, ANKR, for example, Seller, Atom, you have so many really useful altcoins. So useful, we are not talking today about the tokens itself. We are talking about the infrastructure and their use cases. And they will change the whole financial sector. That's why they are investing, like S&P, for example. They are also now just realizing a huge project for custodian wallets for their customers. So everything is indicating crypto is going to be the next standard. Of course, we will find also norms. So really standards on technology level, standards for regulations, standards, because that's the future. If you want to be the next Elon Musk today and the next 10 years, start to program standards. Standards with a big acceptance in the banking sector, and they are going to buy you every single day a golden Lamborghini for that. But that's actually the future. So, I know that many of you are looking for short-term opportunities, and we had them in 2021 and 2022 and 2020. That's of course my personal opinion, is we had our trades, now it's time to calm down, the price will go down, you will see that we will receive a lot of food, and no one will buy, because everything will be related to fear, to whatever. We are not there yet. It will take a little bit. Then some companies, much more like FTX, will disappear. Then you will see that more and more nations will start to launch their regulation frameworks in a global standard level. And in this transition, it's the time to buy. Because afterwards, in the next 20, 30 years, will happen exactly what happens to the stock markets, when after the crash, when nobody wanted to buy and some just really brave investors decided, come on, I go, maybe not all in, but I'm going to use my money to buy here and we will see what happens. 20 years later, they were rich. All these guys who bought Apple stocks, Microsoft stocks, Google stocks, what happened with 1998? Nothing. All these technology companies survived because they were part of a revolution. It were part of a development. And crypto is part of it. It's another one. But I always have to remind what Mr. Bird, the former co-founder of HBAR, said. Such industries like the crypto starts to spread like hell. They are founding companies and projects, and you will have thousands of them, and that's what we have. You will have thousands of them, and many of it's just copy paste, change the logo, and we are better than these guys. But actually we are exactly the same. We just use a word that Alan tweeted 3 weeks ago. In 2 years nobody will care about that. They are just short-term or mid-term projects. They will not survive any kind of regulation, transition, and so on. So what he said is, when this industry is, have a lot of different projects, usually then you will have a crash. A lot will disappear, and the strongest will survive. And the strongest, it's not necessarily now to check the market cap and to say, oh, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and so on, they are the biggest, so they will survive. Yeah, I think they will survive. I'm not sure if Bitcoin will maintain as it is today, but I'm absolutely sure that Bitcoin, or at least an asset like Bitcoin, will survive, will continue. But the use and business case will show you if a project is strong or it's not. When it's strong, it will survive. And in 10, 20 years, you will not pay what they want for one token. It's just what I can say, because, I'm reading so much stuff every day. And I see that clear that this is part of a political agenda. It is part of a whole infrastructure they want to construct. And yes, partially, of course, also because they want to control more and so on and so forth. They can do it with crypto. If you like it or not, it doesn't matter. But it's going to be the future. No one will change that, because we can talk about geopolitical conflicts. We can talk that China is bad, the Western is nice, Russia, ooh, they evil. But I mark my words, every single nation on the world has the same interest. When it comes to control their citizens, every single country, every single government has the same interest. Exactly, to do it. And don't come with, but it's not the case in El Salvador because of Bitcoin. Bullshit. Absolutely bullshit. Okay? So, we will see how much it takes to regulate the whole market. But I think it's not going to happen in 3 months or 4 months. However, we will keep tracking the whole development. And our goal should be not to leave crypto when infrastructures start to buy our bags. Our goal has to be smart enough to jump in, to buy when nobody wants, and then to chill. Just to chill. Nothing else. I mean, crypto is pure technology. Means we will receive more modern technologies in the future. Crypto will also develop. AI is spreading at the moment. Everyone is talking about artificial intelligence. More technologies will arrive and it will be connected to crypto. It's going to be a much more dynamic market than stock was, because technology is very dynamic. Everyone that is involved in technology in its business, you are buying today a computer that even if you paid $6,000 to the PC, in 6 months it's old. And you need to pay another $6,000 to have the most updated gaming PC at home, for example. But yeah, that's it. That's part of it. Dynamic means money. Dynamic means, you can sell, buy every time. Volatility, it's also part of it. Many governments just said Bitcoin and crypto in general is bad because of its high volatility, but that's exactly what banks want to have. Volatility, more opportunities, less time, more gain. That's it. That's the whole secret. We don't need any kind of, formal news. Keep calm, track it, have it in mind, but don't be trapped because of it. Okay? So let us go forward. So let us take a look what the weights ratio is indicating. Where's my Wonder pencil? Epic, where are you? Here. No download. Okay, so if we take a look, we can see that twice, once again, we had a pump in the weights ratio one day, like making a double top formation. And that's why, of course, the weights ratio 30 days moving average is once again bouncing here. Now we need to see what's going to happen next. If we are going to go more up, indicating they are sending again more bitcoins to centralized exchanges, or if it's going to start to decline. However, usually this kind of weights ratio pump also indicates we are close to have such kind of move. It was declining here, the price went up. Now it started, for example, here to push, and you can see that red candles started to be bigger with a higher daily volatility. So we need to see what's going to happen next. Maybe the weights ratio 1 hour time frame, because it's giving us a better overview about the short-term price indication, could tell us. Well, first of all, we see that they were here, for example, maintaining almost 95%, while at the same time reducing here a little bit to the downside. So we can see they were distributing at the same time. We can say it started here to decline a little bit, so indicating, now let the price go up once again. So we went from 26.5 now back almost to 27, almost $500 up. If we check here, we can see that more bitcoins came in. For example, here nothing big, at least on CryptoQuant, nothing big. We received some more stable coins while the weights ratio 30 hours moving average is declining. So 85, that's nothing big, absolutely nothing big. And it's going to be very interesting to see if they are going to push, like for example they did here, almost to 90, because everything above of 90 usually is extremely bearish. So I don't think that we are going just to have a flash crash or something. It will take time because it's part of a distribution as well. You know, a little bit more up, more down, even more down, then a little bit bounce, more down, and so on and so forth. Also to liquidate all these shorters with high leverage. So we are done here. Let us go forward. So also here, if we take a look, for example, let me check, where's the zero here? It's almost here. Okay. If we take a look, we have received just in the last 2 hours 1,600 bitcoins. That's absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. While we received 57 millions, also peanuts, also nothing big, to be honest. But we need to see how far they want to push down. Also here, that stablecoin, if we check stablecoin net flow, receiving, but nothing big, absolutely nothing big. Also sentiment is not indicating anything huge at the moment. So let us go forward. So if we take a look here, now we see that the funding rate declined, then it lifted up. Same happened to open interest, pushed down, then up, right now down because they are of course liquidating, and leverage ratio maintained relatively low, but at the moment we have a, once again, I don't know why, a gap in the data here. However, if we take a look here, we can see that we are receiving 145 millions, another 100 millions here close before they started to dump the market. So I guess they started really to short with this money. At the same time, we can see that they are taking out bitcoins at the moment more than sending. We can check here, for example, the net flow. Even then, looking more red than green, indicating they are taking more stablecoins from centralized exchanges, derivative exchanges. And even here, related to a Bitcoin and derivative exchanges, it looks more, let me see, more red. Right now, a little bit more green, but it's absolutely not big at all. That's the aggregated. Yesterday nothing happened. 418 bitcoins in shorts liquidated, while 160 in longs. Open interest pushing up, leverage ratio pushing up. The trend of the funding rate was declining, so indicating there were the aggregated were just indicating they were demanding more shorts than longs. Well, that's also something that Bitfinex did, because they started to decline their longs positions, and also indicating that usually then, and it was big, that these guys had some insider informations and they knew that they are going to prepare the next dump. So if we take a look to blockchain whispers, let us refresh the site. Wow, look. And that's what I say, it's the problem. Now shorts declining, longs coming back. And I think that's exactly the problem, because now at almost 27k, a little bit lower, we have a trend line there. And obviously it makes sense, also a support area, to expect here a bounce. I would be extremely careful. I'm not trading, so I wouldn't care, but in case I would trade and I would have a short position at 28k, I wouldn't close it. Absolutely not. Of course, nobody knows if these guys here are just expecting a little bounce or something and just, you know, to get some money extra on top. It's also possible. Longs reduced by almost 500 millions. If you remember, last week we had almost 3 billions, and shorts came in, but nothing big. Obviously, absolutely nothing big. So now let us take a look what Binance is showing here, all leverage. And yeah, so the liquidation clusters, 500 million, reduced by 50%. We had almost 1 billion last week, Friday, Thursday, not sure, no, but it was something like. And yeah, it looks like that the masked liquidation clusters are on the long side instead of the short side. Usually that would indicate, in my opinion, that we have here less positions with more volume, and here much positions with less volume, would indicate retailers here, whales here. If we go to the high leverage, wow, okay. What is here? So a lot of high leverage positions to 27.6. Yeah, why not? Could happen. To make finally also in the 1 hour time frame a nice retest of the breakout. Even they did it in the 15 minutes, but maybe would be possible. No high leverage longs positions. Also here, I would be careful. I would be absolutely careful. So that's it. Let us go forward. So if we take a look here, we have started here. I would say the peak that was 28.2, that was yesterday, Sunday. And what happened since then? First of all, Binance CBD indicating minus 74 millions in USDT. BTC USDT, the aggregated 81, so a little bit more than Binance. BUSD 34 millions, that's huge. And if we take a look here, for example, we see that the aggregated USD minus 50 millions. That's crazy, because if we compare USD with Tether, and then we have Bitcoin collateral minus 342 millions, and last but not least, stablecoin collateral futures minus 1.3 billion. Also, it's really a lot of peanuts. So also indicating that everything is at the moment more. The most wondering thing is what BUSD were doing, and at the same time, if we check, for example, I'm still tracking the wallet that received the 1 billion by Binance. That's a Binance cold hot wallet. That's the Binance 14. And you remember that was last week, in the beginning of last week or something, 1 billion. Now we have 575 million. So indicating that Binance is buying already with BUSD. And it's really interesting that at the same time, for example, BUSD is declining since March 25th. Sorry. However, really interesting. Aggregated CBD also indicating here from 136 to right now almost 100 millions down. Also here the futures, and as mentioned, BUSD since March 25th reducing, while the price even pushing more up, indicating that Binance was doing its business, it seems. Bitfinex reducing, so they used also the opportunity from here to reduce while they pushed up once, and that was driven by Bitfinex. The same to Bybit. Only Coinbase was purchasing and right now selling, and the same Bitstamp, Coinbase, Kraken doing the opposite, even Gemini doing the opposite of Bitfinex and Binance. Very interesting. So if we go now to sentiment, on sentiment we can see some flows related to stablecoins. So if we check, for example, today 27th, we will not find anything really bullish. Everything is much more bearish. Just we had, for example, yesterday night at 9 p.m. We received almost 935 millions in stablecoins, but just 50 minutes later, almost 1 billion outflow. So I think that was something like a swap. If we take a look now for today, we would see it's almost blue. Here outflow 150 millions, here outflow 200 million. So someone absolutely taking profit. Then we received here almost 12 million. So that's the aggregated one. And let me here, right now we can see that they sent here 40 millions, another 11 millions, another 10 million. So let us say 40 millions at the moment here, but everything looks much more blue. Only on USDC, for example, they sent 50 millions just 8 hours ago. And related to Tether, well, I mean, they sent 9 millions just a few minutes ago. 1 hour ago, another 30 millions, but the biggest one was here, 30 millions, 35 millions, in here another 20 millions, and that was this morning at 8 a.m. Anything else? Well, here another swap, it seems. 67 millions inflow, 69 outflow, and everything else was just, they 57 here and another 30 millions outflows here, indicating they sold instead. Also here we can see BUSD transaction volume 30 millions. Doesn't make any sense, absolutely any sense. And GUSD, even Gemini here, inflows 340,000 and here another 200,000. I mean, on Gemini you don't need a lot of liquidity to drive their market, right? So nothing big happening here. Then I have here some interesting new indicators. For example, here we can see that 32 whales transactions happened here with more than $1 million in volume, and then here another 35 whale orders, so a little bit more. Also interesting to see where they are buying big, or at least that's just transaction count. Doesn't say they are sending dollars but also receiving, so it's not really clear if they took profit or not. Usually I check here also the aggregated stablecoin chart on sentiment to check. Market maker sent once again 600 bitcoins, relatively active today, but nothing big at all. We are not talking, I mean, the market maker usually loves to use different sources to sell. They love, for example, also to use everything related like OTC and so on and so forth. If we take a look here, for example, we can see that 25th, for example, was extremely bearish, at least on Bitfinex, on Gemini, even on Bitstamp, on OKEx, on Coinbase, and even on Bybit and Huobi, who were showing that their weights were sending more bitcoins to centralized exchanges. And if you take a look, that was a nice preparation, because afterwards we had another bullish candle, daily candle, and afterwards, like today, we started to decline. We need to see how far they will bring us. Then funds started to buy a little bit, so nothing big. We are talking about 2000 bitcoins. No, not big, but that's what they do, and then they sell even more. Depends on their demand. If we take a look, once again, a lot happening with futures here. So with indicating that they started March 24th just to use more futures than spot. The problem we have now is that while Binance stopped to offer the spot or zero fee spot, now we have a disruption in this chart here. It's up, of course, the volume for spot declined. And it's for me not clear if now the future curve is declining or just indicating, the trading volume ratio is declining because derivative is going more up, or if spot just declined that much. And that's the problem I can't see at the moment. Yeah, that's it. I mean, the market is keep doing what it's doing since a while. It's just the activity, it's declining more. We have a level, we reached a level of, if we take a look here, of March 2016. That's when we see now the volume, we compare the volume we had with the zero fees promo with now, and you remember where I said the Swiss newspapers mentioning 70% of the whole crypto volume was wash trading. It was even higher, even more than 70%. The problem is why? Why was it part to attract retailers and to show how healthy the whole market is? Or did they use the wash trading to hide some operations behind? For example, selling. I really don't know. But it would be possible that centralized exchanges use this opportunity to hide some sell operations. Because, of course, if they would start to sell their bitcoins, you can imagine that wouldn't be that bullish, right? Yeah, and that's it. Also here we can see that activity on centralized exchanges is declining since mid of March. OTC lifted up a little bit, but it's declining. OTC is almost dead, so nothing big happening on OTC, to be honest. So that's it from here. So if you take a look here, we can see that they are waiting here around 25 on Coinbase, protecting that area here at 28.1, 28.5. We have 29 here, and so on and so forth. So also here nothing big happening. Bitstamp, on Bitstamp they are protecting the area 26k instead. At the same time, like, hey, don't go much lower, then I need you here to absorb as much as you can. That's a little bit how it looks like. If we go further, that's my wonderful diamond, and usually that's what I said on Twitter to one follower. Said, what I would like to see is we had the break, go up, reject it, and then go down. So I would like to see here a failed retest to confirm that this breakout is valid, and then we will go down. And I guess then we will see how some of these orders will disappear, because then it's just spoofing and the whole thing was absolutely well planned. At the same time, you can see from 28 to 29 They have a lot of volume waiting, like from 26 down to 25. So we need to see. I think we will go a little bit more, hitting 27.5, then finally go down, and then I would expect something sharp, but we need to see. Just a diamond pattern, usually it's also nothing where I would say it's absolutely sharp, and at the moment they are liquidated a lot of longs, now liquidated a lot of shorts, and wait. Usually I would expect to have a breakout to 27, to push up once again to 27.5 and then go down, but instead they push down very hard. They triggered this buy order here and almost 26.5 to then go up to 27.5, and I guess it makes only sense if they are going to trigger a little bit more of, to give you the sentiment of everything is fine, everything, it's absolutely controlled, it's not bearish at all, keep placing longs. So Binance BTC BUSD, also here, for example, 26 at the moment, but also here where the local POC is 28.1, waiting there. Bitfinex, on Bitfinex also clear, they already opened the window to the downside, means they just remove the wall at 25, like they did just before here, for example. So we need to see, but at the moment you can see also that they are just maintaining the price. Now they are pushing, so the price wouldn't decline more. You have a lot of spoofing and algos working there. On OKEX, nothing. Kraken limiting the way up at 28.2, and now they started to react and they placed once again orders between 24.8 and 25. BitMEX, nothing. Bybit Derivatives with USD, nothing. Now with USDT, nothing. Now Binance BTC USDT perp, at the moment not really clear, but it looks like they're here limiting 27.4 at the moment. We need to see if it's spoofing or not. They are on Binance doing exactly the same they did here, for example, and just before here, you remember, and then afterwards everything disappeared. And then tell me this market is absolutely fair and not. I mean, even if we go down, it's absolutely because they want the dip or something. Otherwise, it's this market. That's why I'm not trading, because it's just, I prefer to go to casino, because I know I will not make any big money there, but at least I can have my drink. The whole atmosphere it's just different as to be at home like this Korean guy, laying in his sofa and just seeing how, the market drivers are driving the market. It's what they are doing. I don't know. It feels like a little bit unattractive. I like to see a bunch of different interests and fight. Just fight. I want to see some volatility or something and not that crap. But, well, doesn't matter. So, yeah. Also here, nothing to see on Bitfinex. On Kraken, absolutely not sure if they are really here 27,400, if it's spoofing or not, because we would have here 26.3 also such a wall, but doesn't look solid. Also here looks like a little bit more than spoofing than something else. I'm not sure on OKEX. Then Deribit, yeah, also the same, you know. I mean, Deribit now waiting at 25, and that's it. So look, look that here. That's incredible. That's really incredible. That's I don't know. Just hey, you won. They something like that happened to Binance as well. Here, look. It's just, you know, it's enough. Now push, bring a lot of orders here so the price can go up more. Absolutely not manipulated. Absolutely not. Just to make it clear, this market is not manipulated. So, yeah, that's absolutely it. We will see how far they want to go. In my opinion, we should see something like 27.5 or something before we go more down. We need to break this trend line at almost 27 first, then hopefully also retest that area before we go more down, and then that's it. So let us go forward.